Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Update. My ex demanded I pay child support for a kid that is not mine, and my mother and sister are on her side. Original post. Some years ago I dated a girl. The relationship was bad, she was very controlling and toxic. It ended up really bad and we broke up. I kept going on with my life, and after some years I got a decent job, enough to solve all my needs, have a comfortable life and have some savings. The thing is, a couple months after getting my job, my ex contacted me. She first asked me to talk. I thought she may want to reconnect or something, but she showed up with a 5-year-old child, claiming he was my son and demanding child support. I didn't believe her, but the child's age matched the time when we cut contact. I got advice from a lawyer, a friend of mine, to try to solve this out of the court. I offered to take responsibility, pay all the costs, and being an active part of the kid's life, only after taking a DNA test. Everyone was okay with this, except my ex. She acted offended and demanded to just give her the money she deserved. She used all the excuses she could, even contacted my family and told them I was trying to avoid taking responsibility for her child. When she ran out of excuses, the DNA test was finally taken, and surprise, I'm not the father. She was so mad with the result and cried about the money, saying it was unfair and that she deserved it. But she didn't accomplish anything. Moving on to the last week, there was a little party on my parents' house. My brother, a friend, and I were talking, and my brother started to joke about the situation with my ex. My friend and I started to joke about it too. Some of our comments were a little dark and bad, but we were far away from the rest of the guests. Literally, we were on the opposite side of the house, and nobody else could hear us, at least that was what we thought. We were laughing like crazies when my sister appeared very angry and pushed me against the wall. She was eavesdropping and heard our conversation, and she was really mad. She started to yell at us about how horrible people we were for mocking a poor woman. Few hours later, when the party ended, she asked me to go to the kitchen with our parents, and she started to berate me for how awful I was regarding the previous situation. Apparently, my ex had been in contact with her, and she believed her version, and this was her way of having an intervention. My brother and I were like, "Are you serious?" when she started to say how I forced my ex into be a single mother, and that I have the moral obligation to help her. My dad only said that we maybe were being too cruel making jokes of her, but that I wasn't responsible for that kid. My mom then surprised all of us when she said, "Even if the kid is not yours, you are making more than enough money to support that child. You should have helped her." Since then, I have been receiving texts about it. My dad and my brother are on my side, saying I'm not responsible for the kid, but my sister is telling me how horrible I am for ruining their lives. My mom only said, "It's your decision and I respect it. I'm just very disappointed that you ended up being so selfish." I'm aware that she doesn't deserve my money and I'm not planning to give her any, but the constant harassment of my sister trying to guilt me, it's just exhausting. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Tell your sister if she's so concerned, she should give your ex money since she has as much to do with conceiving the child as you did. Yes, the perfect answer. People are so free with other people's money. It's not his kid. Tell ex to go after the father if she has any idea who that might be. And OP's mother too. Yes, what's wrong with the idiot mother? Is she wanting a grandchild? She is the same kind of person and likely did it to OP's father. Is your sister married with kids that don't look like her husband? No, she is single. Don't give in and start sending money. Once you do, if it becomes a regular thing, the courts can look at it as you taking on a parental role and order you to continue. One of my husband's friends lived with a woman for about 5 years. Her kids were 3 and 5 when they got together. Their dad was active in their lives, he paid his child support. When friend and his ex split, he was giving her money occasionally to help out because he still had feelings, and she is the one that left. She got vindictive when she found out he was casually dating another woman. She took him to court for child support. Even though she was getting it from the bio father, the court said he had played a parental role, and that included financially. This happened back in 2019. He's been trying to get it appealed since, but due to the backlog, he's finally scheduled for court next month. They have been garnishing his wages for 3 years for children they are well aware are not his, but deemed he had risen their standards of living and he was obligated to maintain that. Boy, do I hope the OP reads your post. I hope all goes well for your husband next month. Now for the update 2 months later. It's been a while. After my last post, I read all the comments and decided to show them to my mother. We had a talk about the situation. Again, she started on my ex's side, but after reading the post and all the comments and opinions, she realized she was wrong. I think the thing that hurt her the most was all the doubts about if she cheated on my dad and I wasn't his son, and if that was the reason if she was on her side. We had a very long conversation. She told me that she believed my ex because she was always so nice and kind with her, that she decided to not believe me when I told her all the things she did to me during the relationship, because a good girl like her could never do something like that, so I must be lying. After that, she apologized to me, and we are good now. On the other side is my sister. At first she decided that she wouldn't talk to me until I take responsibility, but after some days I talked with her. She is totally on her side, even after showing her everything. She said that none of that matter, because a woman's word go first, and that's all the proof anyone could need. Also, she said that even if you are not the biological father, you have an effective responsibility to her, so you must be man enough to take charge of them and start acting like a real man. She was a lost cause. About my ex. I did some research, and I found out that shortly after we broke up, she started dating another guy, or maybe she was cheating me with him before, I'm not sure. They broke up some weeks later, and she had multiple dates, until she found she was pregnant. I also found out that she had been trying to find a father to her kid for the last 2 years, and I was the next on the list, but looks like she is desperate now, because she was never that aggressive with any other one before. Now, the reason of this post. Some days ago, my ex and my sister came to my workplace. They made a big sign with my face that says he abandoned his child and irresponsible father and started a drama saying all their BS. Their intention was to shame me and use social pressure to force me into taking responsibility. They literally said it. To not make the story too long, they were kicked out of the place, and I got some backlash for that fiasco. Even after showing all the proofs and legal documents that showed they were lying, I was told that this better never happen again or I'll be fired. After that, I contacted my friend the lawyer, and we are now drafting a very long detailed suit against them, my ex and my sister too. They went too far, now I'm going to throw the books at them. Maybe that'll scare them enough to leave me alone. Good luck with the restraining order. And a defamation lawsuit, and everything my friend can add too. Hey, and if you can play up the emotions part of it, claim you were so excited to be a dad just to find out the kid wasn't yours for emotional damages. We are adding fraud too. I'm going nuclear. Damn, your sister is a mess. I would go no contact with her. If she keeps at it, I plan to go no contact with her after the demand. I don't suppose your sister has children. Is their father sure they're his? I find it totally bizarre that your sister has doubled and tripled down on this BS, even though she knows you are not the father. She is single with no kids. She is too much into the always believe women thing. What exactly does your sister think is more convincing from your ex than the DNA test? And your mother should grow up. Your ex tried to rob you. She think that, as a man, I should take responsibility for her, because I have better income than her, and because we used to date, I owe her that, even if I'm not the father. Your mother wants a child to claim as a grandchild. Maybe she had been asking me and my brother for grandchildren since some years ago. Damn, I think OP is way too forgiving of his mom. It shouldn't have taken this post to believe OP when he initially told her of his ex being toxic, and then tell him she's disappointed he won't care for a kid that's not his. I would not still be in contact with her. I don't know if I could allow someone to be part of my life if they thought I lied about being mistreated because my ex-partner seemed so nice. I hope there's an update where the sis is dragged and financially ruined. What a piece of crap. Now for the last story. Girlfriend, 32 females friends, 31, 33 and 34 female, treated me, 32 male like an idiot, because I own and work in a convenience store. When I confronted my girlfriend, she told me that it would be good if I got a college degree. The thing is, I am 99% sure I make a lot more money than all of them. Girlfriend and I have been dating since January, so together about 9 months. Bit of background on everyone. My girlfriend works in insurance as an associate. I don't know the exact title is. It's related to client services. She has a bachelor's and a master's and is now doing a hybrid MBA. Her friends are all over the place. Some are in publishing, marketing, support roles at tech firms. About myself, I started working in hospitality while I was in college. I started as a waiter, then general manager, and then became a partner for a restaurant/club. Left that and then bought this convenience store. I am now in the process of opening a restaurant with one other person. My girlfriend, when we met, said she admires my courage in life and that I didn't take a set predictable life path. She said that it's so awesome and she likes that I know so many people in the city and tells me that her dad has so much respect for me. And she mentions herself that she always wanted to have her own thing. Over the weekend, my girlfriend invited her friends over and we were going to go wine tasting in some vineyards. The initial conversations were all nice and chill, but over time, it became more and more digs/talking down to me. They tell me that I am not usually my girlfriend's type. They mention that she usually dates the typical finance bro that is excited to mansplain stocks. I am like, okay. But it gets weird. They start talking about how these guys like to brag that they are rich and have a house in the Hamptons, etc., or that their friend owns a boat in Greenwich. I don't take it directly that they are saying she is used to dating rich guys, but more so that they are just douchey. We start talking more, and then one of her friends asks me where I went to school. I tell her that I didn't complete my degree. And then she is like, oh, that's so interesting. Your girlfriend has a master's and is about to get an MBA. That's so great you are okay with dating a woman that is smarter than you. I am like, hey, I didn't fail out of school. When I got my job as a manager, I was making really good money, and a college degree didn't help my future. And then her friend steps in and is like, oh, don't worry, OP, you can get an online degree after your workday. So-and-so school has a great online program. I am like, I don't think you guys get it. In hospitality, degrees don't matter unless you are going the corporate route. People value experience a lot more. And I just saw them look at me as if I was an idiot. And my girlfriend gives me a look to shut up, so I just stop talking. Here is where things get weird. One of them starts talking about investing, and they talk about what Vanguard ETFs they are buying. And for me, after the whole college thing, I am just quiet. Then they start talking to me about stocks, but now they start talking down to me just like they accused finance bros of mansplaining to them. Like, I know what stocks and ETFs are, but they are treating me as if I am an idiot that puts his savings under his mattress. There were some other comments, but this post would be huge if I listed them all. After the vineyard was over, I drove everyone back home, and I talked to my girlfriend about it. I told her, I was like, hey, I didn't like the way your friends talked down to me. She then starts going off on how they are trying to help me, and that it would be good for me to expand my network to people that have degrees. And she starts telling me that I would have a lot more credibility if I did get a degree, and she starts mentioning how schools have huge alumni networks. I at this point am frustrated. It doesn't even make sense to argue with my girlfriend. I just say I am heading home. I don't even know what to do here. Like, here is the reality of the situation. I am pretty sure I make significantly more money than all of them. My store brings in a ton of cash, and I have been given 7-figure offers to buy it as well. My stock portfolio and my 401k is huge from being able to max it out as a small business owner. I haven't told my girlfriend how much I make. She knows I do well for myself, but I don't think she understands I make like 4 times what she does. But I am wondering if it's even about money. I feel that she and her friends think I am less of a man because I don't have a degree. It was weird. She normally isn't like this. I am unsure of how to talk to her about this situation. Any advice is appreciated here, especially in relation to the degree stuff. Now for the top advice. Just my 2 cents, but I'll bet in the long run, you will be happier dating someone else. For real. And tell her how much money you have right before you break up with her. Meet with her friend group again. Tell them how much you make and that you have it all invested in how, and that you didn't appreciate being talked down to. And then tell her that you think she'll be happier going back to dating finance bros who mansplain stocks, and break up and walk out. You'd be a legend. They look down on you because they've spent their whole lives being told that education separates the clever from the stupid, which is actually ironically small-minded and stupid itself. Congratulations, you've just discovered how shallow, small-minded, and elitist your girlfriend and her friends are. She was embarrassed about you, which is why she changed her tune from "you're so brave and independent" to "have you never thought about getting a proper education instead of just being dumb?" You do, but I would struggle to respect someone as easily led and narrow-minded as the idiot you're in a relationship with, and her sorority attitude friends. Your clear alternatives are: put up with it, let them think you stupid, and just swallow your pride until you blow. Ignore them and continue being successful, and eventually prove them all wrong by becoming wealthy and giving your undeserving girlfriend a life of moderate luxury. Or just get rid of her and find somebody as independently minded and flexible in their attitudes and worldview as you are. I mean, saying he is brave in this case was a backhanded compliment. Tricky. I feel like maybe it's not just about how much money you make. You are probably right that they have no clue you are making good money, and that if they did know, they would probably reevaluate you to a certain degree. However, I suspect it's more about some ridiculous blue-collar versus white-collar notion, where a white-collar job is required to be accepted. You know, like it's best to stick to your own kind type of thing. I guess your only option is to talk to your girlfriend again and see what she has to say. Explain, once again, that you didn't appreciate the way they treated you, and why. If she continues to defend them, maybe you should reconsider this relationship. Absolutely. As someone whose literal job it is to teach classes that people need to get those degrees OP's girlfriend and friends covet, I have to say, I would never talk to a stranger, much less my significant other or friend's significant other like this. Nor would I sit idly by while my friends belittled someone for their lack of a piece of paper that is very clearly not indicative of a person's worth. These people are terribly classist. They clearly believe there is a hierarchy of human value, and that OP is lower on that ladder, thus of lesser value than them. I second talking to the girlfriend. Maybe she was feeling pressured in the moment, which isn't great, but might be understandable if everyone was drinking. She might be feeling sensitive or unsure about her current efforts in getting her MBA, and that has swayed her handling of the matter. If she is open and understanding during a private conversation, and can assure OP that she has their back if this happens in the future, then there is still potential for the relationship. But if she doubles down, displays a lack of self-awareness, and can't see how her friends came off as condescending, then this might not be salvageable. Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. My husband's ex-girlfriend is dying, and her last wish is to be with my husband. Original post. As the title goes, my 30 female husband's ex-girlfriend 33 female was recently diagnosed with late-stage breast cancer, and her last wish is to be with my husband 35 male. My husband, let's call him Seb, and his ex Tanya became best friends after their breakup a couple of years ago due to her infidelity. They were together for 5 years. Needless to say, they remain in contact even before he met me. I would be lying if I say it never made me feel uncomfortable even once. It did, and it still does, because Tanya is still in love with my husband. She never denied it, and in fact would even call or message me when she can't get a hold of Seb. Aside from cancer, she also has some mental health issues, thus my husband would always tell me to be kind and patient. Seb is no longer in love with her, of course. She cheated, and Seb swore that he will never get back to her, and that he only sees her as family. Then 2 weeks ago, my husband received a call from Tanya to tell him about the sad news. My husband cried with her and told her everything is going to be okay. They were on the phone the whole day. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that Seb and I moved to Australia a few months ago because of my job, and Tanya is in Canada. They mostly talk via long-distance call or WhatsApp. They've been in contact almost every day since we left, which always bothers me, but what can I do? After that call, my husband told me everything. To be honest, I felt bad for her and I genuinely feel sad. I asked him what's going to happen now, and Seb told me he's going back to Canada, which is a shock. He then told me that her last wish is to be with him. I didn't say anything except, what about me? He said if I can't leave my job, then he's going to visit me whenever he gets the chance. I walked out without saying anything. I've been avoiding my husband since the phone call, and have been ignoring him whenever he tries to bring up the conversation. Yesterday, I found out he already bought a ticket and is flying back home in January. I feel like he's abandoning me, but at the same time I feel that I'm selfish for hating both of them. I'm honestly thinking of getting a divorce, because obviously he's choosing her over me. But at the same time, I thought of why my husband is so attached to her. Seb considered Tanya and her family like his own as he doesn't have one. She's probably like a sister to him now, but Tanya doesn't feel the same. She's madly in love with my husband, and him granting her wish will surely make her think they still have a chance. My entire life I've been putting others first. I've been very patient and understanding about their weird relationship. I feel sick, confused. I want to call her, yell at her for ruining my marriage, for trying to steal my husband from me, for using her sickness to get what she wants, for being a witch. I'm so mad at both of them. What did I do to deserve this? Now for the top advice before reading the update. First, her request is manipulative, inappropriate, and unreasonable. Second, info needed. By be with her, what does that mean? Like, just be there to hold her hand, or to be sexual or what? Third, I would straight up tell your husband that if he chooses her, that your marriage is likely over. Especially if her request includes intimate interaction. This was my thought too. Even if it's to just be with her, she's gonna try to bang that husband. Please just once more, I'm dying. Yep. I think husband showed his true feelings here with his choice. The visiting his actual wife when he gets the chance is the real indicator here. Is he working? How will he pay for the visits? How kind of him to say he will visit his wife when he gets a chance. Also, he's not just giving up on his wife, he's giving up on his life in Australia and his work there. I definitely think he's going back to be with Tanya. Is she even terminal? She has mental health issues. Did she just create this cancer out of desperation? As far as your marriage goes, it doesn't even matter. Your husband Seb has made his decision, and OP is definitely not at the top. She was a placeholder while Seb's sensitive feelings were healing from old girlfriends cheating. OP, it's time for divorce, unless you can accept what you know. Seb needs to get his priorities in order, and sadly for OP, he seems to have shown his hand. A year from now we will be reading about the Great Canadian Miracle. This was my first thought too. She's making this up, or at least using her diagnosis to her advantage. Came here to say the same, and to add, isn't it the dream of all psychos to make up an illness or an accident, to bring their ex running to their side? I'm assuming the ex is in her early 30s as well, and the possibility of her getting late-stage breast cancer is pretty low. If she does get it at this age, her likelihood for recovery and remission is high too, assuming she doesn't have other underlying conditions. If this is real, I do hope she recovers. Honestly, I feel like this a ploy to bring the guy back. I feel bad for the OP, as it's clear that he loves his ex more than her. I hope that in the divorce she sues him for a deceptive relationship. And now for the update. Thank you all for your comments and messages. I didn't expect my post to get this much attention. All I wanted is to get this off my chest, so I can focus on work and other things. I've been a mess, and being in another country with no one, only my husband, is making my situation worse. While some people think that Tanya might be lying about her condition, unfortunately she's not. She was originally diagnosed a couple of years ago, and has been on a treatment for it. Only recently she found out it progressed, and is now refusing further treatment. Sorry I wasn't too clear about this. My husband said she's giving up. In fact, she wanted to give up a long time ago, but her family, including my husband, wanted her to fight. He's going back to Canada to be her support as per her request. Seb did suggest that I go back home with him. But my job here in Australia is a dream come true for me, and I can't just abandon it, especially not for her. I know that divorce is the wise decision here. My husband obviously can't let go of her, and we can't build a life together if he has a baggage. I love my husband so much to the point that I endured all of these through the years. Thinking of divorce makes me feel like I'm dying, and I don't know if I will ever be ready of letting him go. I haven't talked to my husband yet, but I think he already knows what's going to happen. I apologize for everyone who's asking for an update. As many have guessed, I am not a good communicator, which is why the situation got this bad. I am partially to blame for letting this happen to me, to us. I already contact a lawyer to know the next step. Again, thank you everyone for your comments and messages. It made me feel better. I feel horrible for wanting to stop a dying person's wish, and for being mad with someone who's helpless, but you all are right. I should also think of myself. Please take care of yourself in this moment. If possible, maybe the divorce can happen before he leaves. That way you both can break clean. And once she does die, he might come back with beautiful words of remorse or guilt, but please don't let that blind you. He has made his choice. And if he is this attached, there will forever be a shadow from her staining everything. Wishing you the best. Go to therapy, you didn't cause any of this, he never deserved you. I'm so sorry he's an idiot. You'll get better, good luck. A few things I'd like to say. 1. You didn't cause any of this, communication wouldn't have helped the situation at all, your husband and his ex are being exceedingly unreasonable. 2. I haven't talked to my husband yet, but I think he already knows what's going to happen. He is literally abandoning his wife to go be with his ex. Yeah, he knows what the end result is, and if he doesn't, he is an actual moron. 3. He's going back to Canada to be her support as per her request. This is where I'm confused, if they're ex-partners. Why is he going back there? I don't know if he has kids with her or not, but there must be a reason why they split, and if he still holds a flame for his ex, I have to wonder why. This whole situation is bizarre from his part. 4. I already contact a lawyer to know the next step. Good, you need to protect yourself, his stupid butt isn't going to. Good luck, and if you need us, reach out. 5. But my job here in Australia is a dream come true for me and I can't just abandon it, especially not for her. You're right, don't. 6. I know that divorce is the wise decision here. It's really the only decision. Who knows if she will ask him, can we just sleep together before I go? If he has no issue moving countries, that's much less of a request to do, and that would be extremely unfair to you. When she is gone, what is he gonna do then? Okay honey, I'm ready to be back in the relationship now. Get the hell out of here. In my opinion, divorce is unreasonable, but he obviously doesn't care about your feelings, literally at all. 7. I apologize for everyone who's asking for an update. You don't owe us anything. Focus on yourself and getting your stuff in order. The internet can wait, unless you need us, of course. Good luck. Sorry, your husband is an ass. They split because Tanya cheated on him. Yeah, she clearly doesn't give a damn about cheating on a moral level, so what's to stop her from propositioning this married man that she's in love with? Literally nothing, lol. I think OP is giving her husband way too much credit. He's convinced her that he doesn't have romantic feelings for Tanya, that it's all one-sided, but he's literally walking away from his marriage to move back to Canada for her. He promises to visit his wife when he gets a chance though. What a stand-up guy. I'm astonished by his audacity. He plans to go to Canada, watch her die, be devastated, then come running back to OP for comfort. Like, is this guy for real? OP, the acceptable thing for your husband to do here is to briefly visit her one last time, say his goodbyes, then come home. Not actually move there for who knows how long, and expect you to be waiting patiently back home. And it's definitely not acceptable that he asked you to give up your dream career for her. He's very clearly not over her, and he very clearly doesn't care about you at all. I'm so sorry he doesn't, but please don't let him waste any more of your life. You seem like a good person who's been taken advantage of. You deserve better. Whatever you do, do not let him come running back to you once she dies. You can't compete with a ghost. Now for the last story. I just called off my wedding after I found out he slept with his ex-girlfriend on our bed while I was away. I was supposed to get married last Saturday. I found out he was cheating a bit more than a week before the wedding. His ex-girlfriend had been sleeping with him in the same apartment that he and I shared while I was traveling for work. It wasn't a one-time thing. I got evidence he did this regularly. 2 months ago, he said something that cracked my trust. He suggested his ex-boss was just yummy. I was hurt, jealous, and felt disrespected when he went on about her being his one that got away. For a long time, he denied ever dating, sleeping with, or ever having any involvement with her. I went for my phone that I loaned him very briefly. It's an old phone, so he didn't want to keep it. I found it in his brother's drawer. His brother used it briefly. I felt guilty and ashamed for going through someone's things. The chip wasn't there, but still, I found some messages. I will say that from what I read, they never saw me as a family member. It breaks my soul to read his brother's advice. She has money, don't ever pull out. And how his entire family is counting on me helping them out. The rest of the messages include bragging about lunch break hookups with co-workers, fear over having been beaten up by the security detail of the man who married his ex, and mocking me when I was mildly depressed because we broke up very briefly last year. His brother suggested to drive her down, I don't know what this means, to keep me in line. They also agreed that his brother would call me regularly to find out about my mood. His brother did call me a lot during that time. I took his tablet with me on my trip as he hardly uses it, only to read his real-time messages. He talks to multiple women, and he invited his ex-girlfriend to stay over for 2 nights out of the 4 nights I was away. I told my family because I didn't know how to deal with this. I wanted to fly in the middle of the night and confront them, but that could mess up my job schedule. My breakup was a crap show. I told my boss I would need to leave earlier, but he wasn't pleased. He agreed to allow me to leave a bit earlier if I completed my assignment, which I did with help from my colleague. I arrived roughly 12 hours earlier. My best friend and my sister and their boyfriends were there to help me pack my stuff. His affair partner was still there. They weren't in bed or anything, but she was doing the dishes and was barefoot with a shirt and underwear. I hate her, but was almost sorry for her when he tried to blame her for the entire affair. I hate him more than I've hated anyone. My family went around gathering my things and my pets while he first acted contrite, then was angry, then begged for a second chance. Of all the things he could have said, he went crazy when he tried to log into the bank account I opened for us and found out that he couldn't access it as I called the bank to help me change all PIN numbers, close it, and open a new one. I grabbed my pets, my belongings, and whatever was mine and left. My family has been helping me with this. I had to return all the presents and cash gifts. I didn't want to call anyone, but my friends did. My sister got fed up with his family saying horrible things about me, so she posted a brief video of him and affair partner while we were arguing to prove that he cheated. They were implying that I was unfaithful and that my business trips were a sham. I will never be able to erase seeing her in her underwear standing in our kitchen. She called me names and brought up my age and said, at least I'm not almost 40 and trying to snag a husband. She's in her mid-20s. He's my own age. I changed my number and deleted all my social media. I don't know what to do. I hope my transfer application is accepted. I feel numb and don't know if to stay with my family or get my own place or what. I feel nervous all the time. I'm dreading going back to work. I had to tell my boss and got a wellness break. I wasn't on his lease, but paid for everything else while he tried to get out of debt. My parents changed their numbers because his family keeps calling. They wanted to know if I was interested in letting him keep the car. I've already lost too much weight. I hate Netflix because I can't stand scenes about kissing or engaging in physical contact. It reminds me of them. I feel crushed and stupid. If he didn't want me, he needed to just have left me alone. I was on cloud nine thinking of our relationship and our future. It was a huge lie, and him and his family apparently had me as their own private comedy. This just hurts so much. His children that I loved never reached out. We used to exchange emails all the time. I never blocked them from my phone. I guess they share the sentiment that I'm just a detail on their landscape and a dollar sign. Right now, all I have is my job to help me retain some personal dignity. I'm clean, but I have lost all interest in looking presentable. I hate looking at the mirror. I hate all of my underwear because I bought it to look nice for him. My friend suggested a makeover, but that's not going to help change my reality. My best friend is trying to help me sell the dress. I never want to see it again. I'm looking for advice on moving on or forgetting or something. I don't want to date. I don't think I will ever trust a man enough to fantasize about a life together. How do I keep myself from falling apart? Thanks for reading. I would really like some advice. Now for the top advice. You do realize that there is no way to go but up. This guy was literally the worst ever. Don't let him keep the car. Not happening. I got the car and both keys, and there's no reason for him to keep it other than not having enough credit to buy a new one. My heart truly aches for you. Your ex and his family are toxic, so I am really glad you discovered all of this prior to your wedding. It's cliche and true, time will help to heal you. Being gentle to yourself will help. It sounds like you are well supported by friends and family. Lean on them. Let them carry you through hard times. I lost my then fiancé very tragically years ago. It took everyone around me to keep me going. I could not imagine any way to go on. So I truly focused on one task at a time, and I cut myself a ton of slack. I managed to work, and that was about it for a while. I was forever damaged by this loss. I eventually met someone else. I was still grieving, but he brought a bit of joy to my life. What I didn't realize was that he was a dangerous narcissist and I was easy prey. He spent months pulling me in and years mistreating me. Thankfully, my friends pulled me out eventually. I really didn't know how I could start over again, especially since I was in my late 30s, close to 40. I felt even more damaged, hurt, and just empty. Gosh, I don't know why I'm writing all of this. I'm hoping you'll see why your story resonates with me, because I've been there. My history isn't the same as yours, but I think I can relate to how you are feeling. Just depleted, done, sad. I again relied on friends and family. I actually changed my career, much less money but much more flexibility and work-life balance. I indulged in my hobbies. I traveled. I dated around. Met some nice men. Even got serious with a couple of them. And eventually met my fiancé when I was in my mid-40s through a mutual interest in real life, though I am a fan of trying online dating. I really hope that you can read this and decide that if I got through all of that, you can get through this. Not right away, but eventually. There are good men out there. I like relationships, though no harm in being single as long as you'd like. I hope the best for you. Thanks so much for your thoughts and response. It truly is amazing that you are such a resilient person. This is inspiring.